Hi, I'm Rebecca and welcome to the Creabea Knitting Podcast. Hello and welcome, my name is Rebecca, I'm a knitter and knitwear designer based in Edinburgh, and this is like a vlog or a podcast all about knitting, what I'm currently knitting on, what I've been knitting on and what I'd like to cast on in the not too distant future. And I have got so much to show today. Last episode I had no finished objects, only works in progress. Every single one of those I think is now done. So I have 5 FOs today, a couple of works in progress and some acquisitions. So yeah, plenty to show you I guess. Yeah, it's been a little while. It is Friday, we leave on Tuesday to fly to New Zealand and then on to Australia. We'll be gone for like 3.5 weeks away from home and I'm excited, but it's that like final pre-big holiday thing where there's 101 things to do. All like the big stuff is done, you know, everything's, accommodation's all booked, things are all bought, but like I just need to now just sit and pack, and that's the part that's stressing me out a little bit. So yeah, a little bit stressed today, but good stress for a good thing. Before I jump into what I'm wearing and start taking all my finished objects, oh, I should have grabbed it. There you go. Guess what's out today? The Lina issue 20, and it's me. So I have an issue, a design in this issue. See if I can flip up, I can find it. There's like a nice big page with my name on it. There we go. So that's me. My pattern. It's called Plada. It is a like check or plaid style sweater. It's super fun. It's knit up in, this version's in fluff. It is in Biche Bush Le Gros Mohair, which is a dream to work with. It's expensive, but it's lovely. And it's not drop shoulder, it's a raglan construction. And yeah, it's super fun. It's been strange because I submitted this over a year ago. So I found out last March that my pattern was selected, and it has been, I think I had to submit the sample by August, the pattern by like October, and now it's March the next year and it's out. So it was a super long process, but it was really lovely. I had a really good time working with Lina. It's the second of 3 magazines that so like I did Pom Pom, I've now done Lina, and I've got a 3rd one coming in about a month, I think, month and a half. And this was a joy, really liked it. So yeah, that was super fun. The magazine's out today. So today, Friday the, whatever today is, 15th? Because yesterday was Pi Day, Friday the 15th, yes. And yeah, it's out now. So thought I would plug it. They did actually send my sample back to me. However, I dropped it off at my LYS. I went into Ginger Twist this morning and I went to pick up a yarn order, which I will show later. And I didn't even ask them. I was just like, oh, I should take my sample. So I did. And I showed up and I was like, hey, do you guys want this for a little bit? Because they stock Lina. So I'm not going to be here. And the sample is 2 sizes too big for me. So I was like, yeah, totally a bit of a no-brainer. I don't need it here right now. Although I should have probably filmed some of it before I took it there so I could put it in the podcast, but there are plenty of pictures. And now it's there at my LYS for a couple of weeks, which is cute. So yeah, that was my first thing. Technically, I mean, it was a finished object like 7 months ago, but I guess now it's in like its fully formed final state and it's in the magazine and it's there. And yeah, that's fun. There's a little bit, my name is in print, which is always quite fun. So let's move on to my finished objects, and like I said, I have got 5 today and I'm wearing one of them, so let's start with what I'm wearing. I'm not going to get up, but I will put some b-roll in. I'll film myself after this with them all on. This is my first one. This is the Lauder cardigan. The Lauder is coming out in a week today, so what is that, the 22nd? It is just after we arrived in New Zealand, so I didn't make my job very easy, but that's what we're doing. I wanted to give textures as long as possible on this one, so I just will suck it up and sort it out when we get there. It's a day we're staying with family, so like I'm not worried. We're not traveling a lot that day, so I think it's gonna be fine. The Lauder is a mega huge pattern. It is a sweater with a round neck and v-neck option, a cardigan with a round neck and v-neck option, and a vest with a round neck and v-neck option. And there's technically, it's not written in the pattern, but you could also make a vest, a button-up vest if you wanted to, but there's no, like, you'd have to work that out yourself, but it would be pretty doable. So 6 written up versions and 2 bonus ones if you want to do a bit of like math, just if you want to mash some instructions together. It's been pretty huge. I've got loads of samples. I've got my 2 that I've made before, I'll put a picture in, my grey vest and my white sweater. My mum has already claimed that sweater. And then I wanted to make a cardigan, and I also wanted a sweater for myself because my mum got that one. And this is my cardigan version and I adore it. So it is the V-neck cardigan. You can see there's like a cable that runs down here inside the shaping that I adore. I'm wearing a camisole, but it's super low, so it doesn't look like I'm wearing one. And it is a drop shoulder, and it's just super comfy, easy to wear. And this is in Drops Daisy, which is the first time I've used it, and I so far have no issues. I was a bit worried about it pilling, and I feel like the white one did get a bit pilly just with knitting it. Not pilly, but like fuzzy. But the red hasn't done that at all, so I don't know if it's a dye-a-lot thing or what it is. I will say, I need to decide if I want to tighten the cuffs or not. Usually I do quite a cinched in cuff, and with wear, this one's almost like shrunk back on itself since I blocked it, so I might go back, grip the cuff out, do another round of pattern, and then do the cuff again, and do some extra decreases before the cuff. My first sample in Drops Daisy, the sleeves grew like crazy, so I did the sleeves a little bit shorter on this one. I think I left off maybe 2 or 3 repeats. But this one has not done that. So yeah, I might go back and fix that, but I'll wear it first and see. I have some Pigeon Wishes buttons on here, which I've not sewn on quite tightly enough, but again, that's something I can fix. And yeah, I love it. I love the colour. I've worn this a couple of times this week. I worked a knit night on Monday and I'm a big fan. So yeah, that is the Lauder cardigan. And it's funny because I wasn't the first person to knit the Lauder cardigan. I wrote the instructions up when I knit the sweater, but I hadn't knit the cardigan yet. And so yeah, technically other cardigans existed, like the Lauder existed in other cardigan format before mine, which is kind of weird, but kind of cool. But I have my sample now, and I love this colour. I think it's a colour for me. So yeah, that's finished object number 1. Let me put on finished object number 2. And here is the Lauder sweater. So this is the sweater. It is knit in Laxtons at Super Soft DK, held with a strand of Sandnesgarn Tinsel Mohair, and it is lovely and cozy. It's a little bit more oversized, and I just love it. I think it's so nice. There's the detailing here. It doesn't go as far as the V-neck one, but there's like a round detailing there, and yeah, it's got a bit of a fold here, but that's like a drop shoulder norm. There's a really nice detail at the back, but I'm not getting up right now, so I'll put it in the B-roll. And yeah, it is just the cozy oversized sweater of my dreams. I have done something silly though, which is I put a little bit of elastic in the collar and it's too tight, so it's pulling everything in here a bit too much. So I just need to go back, I'll snip this one out and redo the elastic collar so it's sitting a bit more like here, and that will have everything sitting a bit better. Right now it's sitting like a little bit too tight, so very easy fix. This one, I really want one in white, like an off-white with mohair now, having finished this one. I love the grey, but I'm craving a white one. And it's funny because my first sample was white and my mum has that one now, and it's a little bit too small for me anyway, so I'm happy she has it and it fits her really nicely. But now I wish I had myself a white one. So typical, I have a white one, I gave it away, I knit a grey one, and now I want a white one. But yeah, it's super cozy, and it was quite a lot of work, like all the sample knitting for this, but I'm not put off cables. I'm considering casting on a sample when I get back from our trip. So clearly it didn't, like, I don't know, it impacted me, but not that much. And I don't know if I've got much more to say about this pattern. Yeah, size inclusive as usual. It's been pretty good. It's been pretty smooth. It's been a relatively smooth test knit. The V-neck one, I've had to go back and add some extra instructions for people who weren't on row gauge, and that was quite a common issue. So some people didn't make row gauge, and because of the way the V sits, I had to give a bit more instruction if people aren't on row gauge, but that was completely fine. And yeah, I've got the final write-up to finish off this afternoon. And let's see, oh, this is a really good pattern for if you have not cabled without a cable needle before, because that's all I did for this whole thing. I just spent the whole thing cabling without a cable needle. It is a lot of cables. There's like a 6 braid and a 4 stitch cable, so like one with a plain cross and one with a braid. And I did the whole thing without a cable needle, which I've done a little bit of before, but I wouldn't say I was like hugely confident, and now I'm definitely like, I could knit cables in my sleep now, I think. I considered taking this to the cinema, and I think I could have, by the time I was finished. I was just so chill with the cable needle. I don't know if you'll see it on this one. There's some really fun, if you can see, there's some really no, you definitely can't see. There's some really fun cable detail. There's a cable that runs all the way under the arm, and the other cable's like into it, which I really like. So yeah, almost perfect this one, but yeah, the neck is just pulling it in a little bit funny around the shoulders, and you can see like these cables aren't coming in and going straight down, they're coming in and like scooshing, and that is because my collar has just messed it up a little bit, so I'll probably fix that this afternoon. This is in contention to be taken with me to New Zealand because it is just so warm and cozy, but I need to fix the collar first and then decide over the weekend. I currently have 2 sweaters definitely packed, and I need to work out if this is going to be the next one. I will be making a video, or I'm currently planning to make a video of packing for New Zealand, and that is going to be a combination of the projects I'm planning to take and the knitwear I'm planning to take. So I guess I'll have decided by then if I'm taking this or not. But I'm going to fix this. Yeah, you can see it's just too tight. I'll fix that today and then wear it a little bit this weekend, and then I can make a decision. Okay. Finished object number 3. Oh yeah, so this pattern's coming out next week. It's coming out next Friday. I'll be posting pictures on Instagram with it, but I'll also, my goal is that my packing video, that one, or maybe I think I've got a vlog style video coming next week. I'm not really sure, but whatever video it is, I'll put a little thing at the start of it, just with a reminder that the pattern's gone live and a discount code. So if you're not on Instagram and you want to get that code, I will make sure to share it next week. Okay. Finished object number 3. Okay, I didn't really feel like fully stripping, so my camisole's on underneath this. But this is my Tolsta most recent one, and I'm calling this the square neck version. I was calling it a halter, but then somebody on Instagram commented and said square neck, and I really like that one. So this is the square neck one. It is kind of like a triangle, and then you do some ribbing here and you do some straps. My straps are a little bit tight. I did one before in Drops, a cotton merino blend last year, which honestly has been sitting around for weeks. Did I finally put that away? That is so unlike me. Oh no, I didn't. It's right here. This is the one that I did make before, and the straps stretched out quite a bit. So I cast on a few fewer stitches for this one, and it does actually, it's on the opposite. It's a little bit too tight, so it's like pulling here a little bit. This used to be looser, so I'm gonna wear it and see if they stretch out like this one did, and if not, I'll go back and add an extra 2 stitches. But yeah, I can hold this one up so you can see what it looks like. It is like a, oh god, it's so crumpled. I only have this one out because I was using it to count stitches to write the pattern for this sample. It's like a sort of triangle shape one, with like decreases up here, and these fun little straps. And it's fun because these could be I-cords. You could deepen these straps. So I quite like that you can't, with my camisole it's a bit hard to see, but this does cover a bra strap. But you could knit this just thicker if you wanted it to cover a thicker bra strap, or you wanted this to be a little bit higher. You could do an I-cord, you could do some like fun laces, lace edging, you could do ties and just tie them at the shoulder. So it's really modifiable, which I, as we all know, I'm a big fan of modifying things. And yeah, so the pattern is now written, which is exciting. It has gone to tech edit, but it's not, there are 2 other things in the queue ahead of it. So I think it's going to be ready for when my plan is to start the test knit when we get back from our trip. There will be 3 versions, so I can put up a picture, I think, of the drawings I have. There is this one, which I'm calling the square neck. There's a, did I bring it through? No. There's a vest version, which has like thick straps and like a proper round collar and sleeves here. And then there's the camisole version, which is like the triangle version. And all of them, yeah, again, like all the trimmings are going to be customizable. So you could do I-cord edges on the camisole. The sample will have no edging, but you could pick up and do ribbing, you could pick up and do I-cord, you could pick up and add a lace trim, you could add eyelets to the patterning, you can add stripes. So yeah, very similar to the Tolsta tee, mega customizable options, and I'm hoping to get lots of options in the test knit as well. And it'll be a DK and a fingering weight pattern. As I'm saying this out loud, I'm realising the test knit is going to be huge. Similar to the Lauder, there are going to be minimum 6 testers per size, because there are 3 styles, 2 gauges, and I think probably 10 or 11 sizes. 60-person test knit, that sounds like chaos. That's a problem for me to deal with at a later date. And I don't think I'm going to pack this version to take with us, but I think I will be taking my vest. I've got a black vest version, and I've got a whip version, which if I get it finished on time and blocked, I would like to take. It's pink. I'll get to that when I get to my whips. But yeah, I feel like it was quite funny. My last whip that I'll show you, I was struggling about the pattern writing this week. I could not get my brain in the right space to do the pattern writing, and it wasn't really working out. And so I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write the Tolsta up, because the numbers all make sense and it's very logical to me, and I've got it very clear in my head. And I wrote them all up, and it took me a couple of hours, and then my brain was like supercharged, and I had the confidence to go back in and write my lace pattern that I'm showing. And then the lace pattern was written up, and I was like, oh, that was super easy. It just took me a bit to wrap my head around what I was doing. So I used my Tolsta to like get my head in the game, which is quite nice. And that means that I'm now, I think I might have one more summer pattern, but otherwise that is my summer pattern writing all done. And the last one I'm going to do is going to be a Tydes. I had a swatch somewhere, but I'm not going to dig around for it. Which is my like wavy sweater pattern. There's going to be a t-shirt version. So that's quite fun, because the construction is already pretty clear in my head. I just need to work out, it's a different gauge, so I'll do a different gauge for it. But it shouldn't be too heavy on the maths, or like too heavy on my brain, because I already know how I'm going to go about doing it, which is super nice. So yeah, really cleared a lot off my plate this week in terms of pattern writing. I just have a lot of test knitting and sample knitting to do, but those are the fun parts, so that's quite nice. I knit this up in drops Belle in the colour Petrol Blue, which I really like. I think it's a really nice colour, a bit denim-y, a bit bluey. Oh, that's really bugging me that these armholes are just a bit... doesn't look good on camera when it folds funny like that. And I didn't really notice before, because I've just chucked it on a few times. Yeah, maybe I'll undo these and redo them with an extra couple of stitches, just so it would just drop this down to here, and then this will sit lower, which is where it's meant to sit. I can almost fix it by just tugging it down, but that's not really the look we're going for. Yeah, I've also asked my wonderful tech editor about bust shaping, because I don't use any, what's the word? Bust shaping is not the word I'm looking for. Can't remember. But ultimately, most sizing charts, so you usually work for, when you grade something, you work off a standard sizing chart, and usually most industry wide for I think sewing and knitting are for a size B cup. And if you have a larger cup than that, usually there's not quite enough fabric, and it means that things pull funny, so it might like be shorter at the front than it is at the back, or it might just be a bit too tight. And so I've asked my tech editor, who also does some grading, if like she's a grader and a tech editor, and I've asked her about bust adjustments. What is the word? There's a term for it, but I completely forgot what I was like. Yeah, anyway. And she's currently going through a course right now on like knitting for boobs, like making space for them. And I said to her, like, free reign with a Tolsta, like do whatever you want with it. So I'm hoping to also have some various options for bust shape, bust fits in this. I think it will definitely be an option for this one, definitely an option for the vest. I'll be curious to see what the professional take is on the camisole one. I can see that would be harder, because here you're just going to knit short rows on the front to put, like, to create more fabric here, and the same with the vest version. And as long as, like, in plain stockinette anyway, it's not going to be any issue. So yeah, I'm excited to have some, I think it'll be more inclusive. and I like the idea of the Tolstas being like a real staple garment, so being able to just include those bust adjustments in the pattern will be interesting. And yeah, we'll see. She's got it for now to do all the work on it, and I'll see what document I get back. So that's a Tolsta tank. I don't think the pattern test call is going to be for a few more weeks, which is fine. But yeah, just as a heads up, that'll be coming at some point soon. And I'll be looking for apparently 60 testers, so yay. I went out this morning and it was absolutely torrential rain. Oh, I got a haircut, if anyone can tell, but I got like quite a lot of hair cut off. But I went out this morning in torrential rain, and now this is what my hair looks like, and I don't have the patience to restyle it, so we're just going with like au natural. A natural. Okay, FO number. Okay, this is not FO number 4, this is the Tolsta tank, the other one, but this is what it looks like when it's not pulling funny. So yeah, there's none of that fold here that there was in the other one, because the straps are longer. So I feel very, very pale. Can you tell it's March in Scotland? I need some sun. So this is a fun one. I have mentioned that the trip we are going on is to go to my mum and my stepdad's wedding in Brisbane. That's the part in Australia, and then in New Zealand we're visiting my partner's family. For the wedding, I'm wearing a very strappy dress, and I wanted to take an extra layer basically, because I'm not that, like, I don't feel super comfortable in like very strappy things. Also because in Scotland, like, I don't have a tan, like I feel like I just look very pale and very naked. So I was like, oh, I'll make something, I'll make a wrap top. Now I had a look at patterns online and there was nothing I wanted that was the right thing or size inclusive, like nothing really ticked the right boxes for me. So I started my own one. Now, I've since then decided to not wear the wrap dress to the wedding, or the wrap top. Firstly, it's gonna be like humid and like high 20 degrees, so I don't need a mohair wrap cardigan. And secondly, I'm not sure it really goes with the dress. I tried it on with it and I was like, oh, not sold on it. So I don't think I'm taking it to that, but it's been a really interesting learning, and I'm thinking of this as being like my first take in sewing. You often, if you're making a fitted bodice, or if you're making anything to be honest, you'll make what's called a toile, T-O-I-L-E, which is, I guess, a French word. Sometimes it's called a muslin, because of the fact you often use a muslin fabric, and it is basically like a test run. And you can pinch it and take out fabric here and work out what doesn't quite work. And in at least the sewing, like hobbyist sewing world, we talk a lot about a wearable toile. So it's not perfect, but it's wearable. And I feel like this is my wearable toile. There will be a second version of this. I have some changes I want to make to this, but I'm pretty happy with how we started. So let's have a quick look. This is where it's at. I've not actually done the outside. I'll stand up and put some footage of it in properly. I've not got the outside ties on, only the inside ties. I used an I-cord and it was perfect. And I was worried that you'd see it pulling from the inside and you don't at all. So that was a really great tip. Oh, my knot has come undone on the inside. Let me just tie that quickly. But it was, the inside tie worked perfectly. In general, I do quite like this fit. It's a little bit lower than I want, so I'm just going to go through and basically point out all the flaws of it. It's a bit lower than I want. I want it to cross probably more like here. So we're just a little bit off, and that is because of the way that I did the decreases. So I decreased evenly to here and then I staggered the decreases. I think what I will do is stagger the decreases, like get to here and then stagger them and then do them more regularly so that this bit gets a bit more coverage. My shoulders are too wide, and weirdly this one feels wider than this one. So this, you can see there's like a fold of fabric on both sides that shouldn't be there. You see that? So that is because I want to cut this in more and make this more of a shaped shoulder. If I was wearing this like here, right on my neck, it would be fine, but that's not where it's falling naturally. So my shoulders are too wide. I think the armholes are also slightly too deep, but it's only slightly, it's like ½ centimetre. So I think I'll adjust the armholes. The edges on here, I've done a ribbed edge, so I think I did knit purl knit to the end. and it's made for a very like, especially this one, it's a really like flimsy edge. And with a wrap, I think you kind of want it to like hold a little bit more. So I will for this one put a crochet reinforcement on the inside, but I think I'll have to re-look at what edging I use for the second sample. I do love the sleeve shape, like the where it lands. There will be a long sleeve version too. I like that part. I like the overall length. The final thing is, I don't know if I can show this, but the back is gaping a little bit. You can kind of see that there. Part of that, in fact, there are two things. One is that the edging, again, is too soft, and that is the way that I attached it, and it's just flaring out. It's not really lying flat. And the second issue is that I think the neck is too low, so I want to bring the neck up a little bit more. So yeah, a shopping list of things to fix. Now, I think with the crochet reinforcement, this will become perfectly wearable, but it's definitely not like ready to, like, it's very early in development. What I will say is it taught me a lot about this. Now, I've never knit a sit-in sleeve before. Yeah, you can see if I was sewing, I would like pinch out a layer of this fabric and I would shorten this armhole by doing like this. You see that? I've like folded it, and that all automatically gives a way better fit on the shoulder. Funny. So yeah, I need to take out about this, what is that, about an inch of depth on this side, interestingly. First time doing a sit-in sleeve, which I honestly think my sleeve shaping is pretty good. I think once I get the armhole right, it'll be better, but yeah, pretty pleased with that one. I quite like the shape of the sleeve, I like the shape of the V, I like the tie method, but still quite a few things to be worked on. And this is quite nice because then I can do exactly that. I can pinch out things here and I can measure, like I can measure how much I want to bring the sleeve in by, and then I can just work that out with stitches. So okay, I want to bring it in by a centimetre, it's 20 stitches per 10 centimetres, so I have to take off 2 stitches. Is that right? Yeah, so I have to take off 2 stitches. Like that is how I can go about it from here. So I'm not, there are a lot of problems with this, but I'm not chalking this up to a loss. This is knitting for olive, knitting for olive pure, no, knitting for olive, mohair and merino. In the colour, I think dusty aqua blue. I'm torn between making the next one in red or in pistachio green. I think the green's gonna win. I was eyeing up some yarn from Garn or also potentially cobalt blue because I have no cobalt blue anything, and I think that would be really fun. And what my plan is I'm not going to touch this one for now. I'm going to keep this until I've got a sample I'm happy with, and then I might rip it out and re-knit this one once I've got an option I'm happy with. I'm still not sold on this being a pattern at any point, but I do like the idea of nailing for me a wrap cardigan, and I'd really like to make one and then wear it for quite a while and really work out like the intricacies of it, because it's something I want to fit great. And I'd like to be able to like possibly give some options for like more coverage if people want that, like a higher neck wrap and things. So there's definitely things I want to explore with it. And this is like version 1. So it's cute. I will probably still wear it. I've got it tucked into my jeans today and I really like how that looks. With a camisole underneath, like I don't feel like I'm too exposed. It feels pretty reasonable, and I'll put that crochet edging in and see what that does, but definitely needs a bit of work, which is totally fine and kind of fun. And the yarn was lovely to work with. I also think I knit this one bottom up. Oh gosh, my neighbour has a kid just like staring out the window at me, and I just turned and like made awkward eye contact with a child, like a little one. That was a bit spooky. What was I saying? Oh, I knit this one bottom up, I will knit the next one top down, because that way I can really wrap my head around what's going on up here and stop and try things on as I'm going before I do the bulk of the knitting, which will be way better. So yeah, that's my wrap. Work in progress still, like it's a finished object, and actually I'm calling it a finished object. This side still has no tie. So like finished-ish, not quite finished. Finished if I tuck it into my jeans, but yeah, I need to work out if I want to use like an I-cord or a button, or I kind of like the idea of doing a double knit, like a chunkier tie, but I don't have the patience for double knit right now, so I can come back and do that at a later date. And right now it works if I tuck it into my jeans, so I'm lazy. But that's okay. Goodness, I'm really sleepy all of a sudden. I think I will be making a little coffee, an afternoon coffee after this recording. Okay, I have one more finished object and it is my one I'm most excited about, I think. Ta-da! This is my Sanna cardigan. It is, again, I'll put some footage in, but I will show you a little bit of what this one looks like. It is a lace cardigan. This one has little short sleeves. It's got 2 lace motifs. It is a round neck and I'm sitting way higher now. And it is like, in my humble opinion, absolutely perfect for spring. I'm so excited. I'm kind of gutted that the weather is so bad today. It was super rainy, super wet, because all I want to do is wear this cardigan and it's too cold. Oh, okay, I head out of the way so you can see. So what to tell you about this cardigan? First things first, I knit this top collar too tight. So with a pinch of salt, look at this one. I just need to go back and pick up a few more stitches because right now it's choking me. So yeah, it's a little bit tight there, but for the most part it is, I'm pretty pleased. I'm so pleased with the fit. I wanted it to be more like a blouse and that's exactly what I've got, I think, which I am really excited about. It is pretty similar to the fit of my cardigan, which I knit last spring, and it is also a lace cardigan in the same weight of yarn. So I love the fit of that one, so I was pretty confident with the fit of this one. It is bottom up, which I think works really well because you get to grips with the lace quite a bit before you have to do with any shaping, which is quite nice because it's just a lot of lace knitting and you're just knitting like a big panel of lace, which is pretty fun. There's only a round neck option. My Corn had a V-neck option, but the V-neck in this would be so complex that I decided it wasn't worth it. So we just have a round neck option. There will be a short sleeve and a long sleeve. So this is my short sleeve one, obviously. There will also be a long sleeve, like fitted sleeve version. The sleeves are knit separately and attached. I did mine with a 3-needle bind off, which I think is really clean. You could also seam them, but I avoid seaming wherever I can because I'm not very good at it. So I did a 3-needle bind off and I'm so happy with it. I just think it's such like, I don't know, I think it looks great. It fits really nicely, like it's a really nice wear. And yeah, I will be taking this on a trip, I think. I also have definitely sewn this button on, like this buttonhole. I didn't follow my own buttonhole instructions because this one ended up too high, but I don't care. Honestly, I don't care. I could, once it's done, like I can button this all the way up, which I think without this one being choking will be quite cute, but I'm really enjoying wearing it like a little bit open. Kind of gives like a, again, a blouse shape. The lace is super nice. It took me like one repeat of each of them to really get to grips with it. And now I'm already excited to cast on the second sample because I really enjoyed the lace. It is an 8-stitch repeat for both of them. So they're both 8 stitches. One is only like a 10-row chart and one is a 30-row chart. So it's quite nice. Like it's pretty easy to go and it's a pretty big gauge. I think it's like 16 stitches, so it knits up pretty quickly. I've used Cascade 220, which everyone knows I love Cascade 220. It's not like the most summery, it's 100% wool, so it's not like a super summer ready yarn, but for my weather it's kind of perfect because there are probably only like 5 days a year where it's too hot to wear this and I just wear something else on those days. And I think the long sleeve one especially will be super good and transitional between like into spring and then into autumn with like the long sleeves but still the holes. I wear my Corn so much, so like a lace cardigan I knew would have a good space in my wardrobe. I was worried that this white was going to be too bright and I toyed up between a white, do I have the yarn here? I do have. I think this is what's left of my 3rd skein, so I really think it only used 2.5 skeins or like 2 in most of a skein. This is the yarn I used and it is a bleached white. So obviously sheep are not white, sheep are like natural, so it's more of a beige colour. And when I got this I thought it looked like acrylic, just the bleached white nature of it, but knitted up I love it. I think it's really nice. So yeah, that one was all good and I've gone with like really plain plastic buttons just to not draw away from the rest of the lace, but I think it would also look quite nice with shell buttons. I just didn't have any, so I went with white. So yeah, it is also with the tech editor. This is the one that I had a real pain writing up, and actually it was quite fun. My Tydes sweater, which is like a wavy pattern sweater, is currently in testing, and the way I wrote it up, So the way I knit it is that, again, that's maybe a 12 stitch repeat. So I use stitch markers in between every single one, and it helped me follow the chart really well. But I didn't do it, I didn't put that in the pattern, I just did that myself. And then a few testers said, oh, I did this, it made it really easy. And then some testers who were like, oh, like the decreases aren't quite working, they put in stitch markers and they're like, oh, this makes so much more sense. So that pattern now has stitch markers in it to help you work out where you're at. And as soon as I had like most of a document written for this, but I hadn't finished it, and I was kind of struggling to get it to like wrap my head around it. So I started from scratch and I used a stitch marker method, and I found it way easier because with the decreases I could just say like knit to mark, like knit two together, knit to marker, continuing stitch pattern. And it's what I was doing already, but instead of having to like count the stitches, it just made it super smooth. And then you just know like, okay, I maintain the stitch between the stitch markers, and then like I do the decreases outside of that. So yeah, I was not planning to take this on our trip, but I am definitely taking this on our trip. I think I'll fix the collar first, so I should do that today or tomorrow maybe. But yeah, I think it's gonna be super fun for like a slightly warmer day, or like a nice, sorry, I have hiccups. Like a nicer day, like a warmer day, or like a nice dinner or something. So yeah, I'm very excited. I'm going to spoil one of my acquisitions. I spent a little bit of time winding up all my yarn, and I now have, for the most part, my project bags for our holiday all ready to go. I've got one more to fill. Oh, that's not the one I want. Sample number 2 is going to be my long sleeve one, and it's going to be in this colour. It is, again, Cascade 220. It is the colour Twilight Blue, and it is not quite a navy and not quite a cobalt. It's kind of in between. I think it's going to be really nice. I didn't want to just do navy because I thought it would take away from some of the detailing, but I think this is going to be really lovely. And so that's going to be my long sleeve one, and I'm really excited. I'm also planning, I kind of wanted to have a tester call done for today, but I didn't get it sent off to our tech edit until yesterday because I had such issues writing the pattern. But it's now there, so I'm hoping to do the tester call next Friday. So again, whatever video I put up, I will put a little like shout out at the start and say there's a test call live, set it down below. And I'm going to be taking this to New Zealand. I think I'll be taking it on the plane. I think I need to get a combination of like really easy knitting, so I could just do like stockinette and read a book, and also some more like engaging knitting. I think this will be my engaging knitting. I can't read while I do this because I have to follow the chart, but I can watch TV. Like it's easy enough to follow. It's not like super complex, it's just I have to pay attention to what I'm doing. I can't do another thing that completely takes my attention. So yeah, those are all my finished objects. I'm keeping this one on. I structured it throughout the day. I was like, what do I want to wear the most? And it was this one and my red cardigan. So I started with my red one and now I'm wearing this one. I've got a sort of bonus FO. There's not really an FO, but my Tolsta tee in Knitting for Olive Pure Silk was too short for me, if I'm being perfectly honest, and I was not getting very much wear out of it. I put it on and then be like, oh, that's showing like belly button, and that's not really my vibe. So I lengthened it. So I have blocked it, but you can kind of see a little bit. You can actually see I ripped out the yarn that was the ribbing, and I knit that again, and then I joined a new skein. And you can pretty much just see where the ribbing yarn was. It's a little bit wrinkly at the bottom there. But I think I added like 7 or 8 centimeters, and now it's absolutely perfect. I tried it on already, so that is ready for me to pack and take with us, which I'm really excited by. It's so comfortable. It's Knitting for Olive Pure Silk held double, and you wouldn't expect like a silk t-shirt to just be comfort, but it really, like I really was considering wearing this on the plane. But my issue is with the plane, I feel like the clothes you wear on the plane always feel a bit scruffy afterwards, like especially when it's, I think it's 2 flights. One's 6 hours, one's like 14 hours. I do not want to be, like I'm gonna feel like trash afterwards. And I don't want, I want to wear this top for like something nice. So, works in progress. I have 2 works in progress, which is impressive given that I've finished 5 things that I can still have 2 works in progress, but there we go. The first one is one I'd like to have finished because I want to take it with us, but if I don't have it finished, it's not the end of the world. It is a Tolsta sample. In pink, it's my Barbie sample. I'm using Sandnesgarn just Sandnesgarn Lina, which is their linen mix. It is practically the same makeup as Drops Belle. I think it's slightly different, like 1% off on some things, but for the most part it feels very similar to me. And I think Drops Belle works so well with the t-shirt and with this pattern, and it's so crinkled. This is the tiny bag I've been keeping it in. It's super crinkled, but this is going to be the tank top version, so the high neck one with ribbing at both sides. I'm just about ready. I'm like 2 centimeters off splitting for sleeves. Splitting to front and back. Yeah, what I think is really interesting with this is, this is the same, this is Drops Belle, so it's slightly different fabric, it's ever so marginally different, but I want to see if I can show this. This to me is like, it's got such a nice drape, and the stitches are so even, and it's got like a, yeah, it drapes really nicely. It's got almost like a luster to it. Before it's blocked, it looks horrendous. It's kind of holy, and it's all uneven, and it's wrinkly, and like it looks really, especially the stitches, it's a relatively like open gauge, so like it's super, you know, it just doesn't look good. And then you block it and it comes out like lovely and drapey, and yeah, really like fills the gaps really nicely. So it's a very like trust the process yarn, and currently I'm trying to trust the process. But yeah, I'm hoping to have this one finished. I think we're going to the cinema maybe this evening. It's not super cinema friendly because I've got some shaping to do, but we might try. We'll see. And otherwise, if I'm like going down to the boat or anything, ideally I want it finished by like Sunday night so it can block on Monday so I can pack it for Tuesday. Nothing like cutting things short. But yeah, I mean, it's not very much knitting. I think if I had nothing else to do today, I could sit down and finish it, but I have a lot to do today, so that's not going to be today's job. But yeah, I think this pink is going to be super fun. I'm thinking primarily for the Australia part of the trip when it's a bit more like beachy and chill. This is a nice beachy and chill outfit. I think I'm going to take a gingham skirt, like a black and white gingham skirt, and I think this and a black and white gingham skirt will be super fun. Yeah, so just plodding away on that one, and I thought that I was going to need to knit this one up to get to like write the pattern up, but actually I have already a sample in this in black and the sample fits perfectly. So instead of, I just counted stitches. So I was like, okay, how many am I casting off here? Let's count the sample. And I thought I was gonna have to try and like replicate it, but I'm pretty confident with those numbers, so not too worried about this. And then my last work in progress. Ooh, I should have been working on this because it comes out just after we get back and I'm not taking it with me. But, so it might end up coming out a little bit later than planned. This is my Tydes. So Tydes is a sweater and a cardigan pattern. And it is with this very fun motif that makes these really cool waves. So my first sample is in fluff and it is blue and navy. It's very like classic. And then wide stripes, and this one is narrow stripes and it's in this pink and purple, sorry, this red and purple, and I just think it looks super funky. So I'm pretty sure I'm using Sandnesgarn Double Sunday. Interestingly, apparently Drops Daisy is a dupe for Sandnesgarn Double Sunday, and they feel very, very similar to me, to the extent that I wasn't sure which yarn was this one and which one was for my Lauder cardigan. I got confused with the yarns because they look so similar. This I think is Knitting for Olive, and this is Kid Sita, I think it's called. I really just picked the colours that matched. Like there wasn't a particular choice for picking these mohairs, they were just the best colour match I could find. I wanted the purple to be quite a rich purple, and the Sandnesgarn was a little bit too light for me, but we're lilac, so I picked a slightly darker mohair. And I just think it looks so fun. I did this with like a white t-shirt and a pair of jeans. It's going to be like a really, really fun outfit. And yeah, it's really fun to knit. It's a really easy to follow pattern. Originally I did wide stripes and I ripped this out to do narrow stripes, which is quite nice because now there's no ends. Like you can see that I started with some ends to weave in, but now my stripes are narrow enough that I can carry the yarn, and it's super nice. So yeah, I've got quite a lot to do on this one, but I kind of was prioritising it, and then I thought, you know what, I want to just finish that Tolsta tank to wear, so it's not really getting my priority right now, but I'm casting on nothing else before we go. I might cast on the ribbing for my Sanna cardigan, just because I feel like sometimes I'm planning to only put my wooden needles on the plane, but sometimes they're funny about it, and I thought this way, if I take some already on the knitting, if I take some knitting that's already in progress, it's very obviously knitting. If I just take a bunch of yarn and a bunch of needles separately, it's a bit more like, huh. So I might take the, it also means I could do the ribbing on metal needles and then just leave them in my suitcase and just do the rest on wooden. So I might cast on the ribbing to Sanna before the trip, but everything else I think I will cast on the plane or on the way there. I have an intention to make a video of trying to knit a Tolsta tank, like a whole tank, on the journey. So we'll see if that works. Okay, those are my works in progress. That took like 10 minutes because there are only 2 of them. I have a couple of bits of acquisitions to share. Not crazy amounts, but a little bit. My big splurge is that I got some yarn from Hello Stella, who was the diver behind my Pride and Prejudice advent calendar. And then there's a Pride and Prejudice pre-order, and so I ordered a yarn from the pre-order. Now I originally ordered the blue, a light blue, which I think is called, I think it was one of the ones I named. I think it was called, I can't remember. Oh, was it that one? Incomprehensible Ass, potentially. It was a beautiful blue, but then I changed my mind and wanted red, and to be honest, I kind of wish I stuck with the blue. The red is stunning, but I feel that blue, like I'm mourning that blue a little bit, and I don't think I would have mourned the red in the same way I'm mourning the blue, but I don't really wear very much blue, and I want to make a red sweater. So the red arrived ultimately, and I ordered it before my red phase, where now I have a lot of red on my needles, but then I didn't have any, whereas now I'm like, oh, I'm knitting so much red, I wish I had blue. It's all my own fault. So this colour is called Officers, you know, when like they find out and they're all like, officers, and they're screaming. It's called that. It is Highland wool DK, 100% Highland wool, 100 grams, 246 yards, which is what, like 225 meters, I think. And this is it. I did a video, or I filmed on Instagram when I opened the box, and I opened the box and there's like a glow coming out of the box of this reflecting with my skin. It's quite like a neon red, almost an orange. I think it's super interesting. I like it a lot. So I think I'm gonna make a stick season, a stickless stick season, but I'm not 100% sure. That's currently my plan. But I am wearing my mohair one so much that part of me wants one in alpaca and mohair again because I wear it so much. But is that silly? Maybe. But it is beautiful. It came all the way from Canada, and I actually just ordered some more yarn from Hello Stella in the like Fizz Pop collection or something, some fluff, so I'm hooked. Yeah, I already obviously showed my Cascade, that came this week. I've got 5 skeins of this. I've only taken 4 on holiday, and I might need to finish off some bits when we get back. This used under 3, I think it used like 500 something meters, and it's 200 meters per skein. So I think the long sleeves will obviously take more yarn, but we will see. What is on all these bags? Okay, this one is going to be the camisole version of stick season of Tolsta. I think I'm going to make it in this green. I currently have like 4 Tolsta tank quantities of drops Belle, and I'm struggling to decide which ones to take with me. I think I want a camisole in a pale colour, so the green would be a great option. I also have some cream, which I want to do for a camisole, but I also want to make a black and white striped one. And I thought I had some pure silk in black. I can't find it anywhere. So my plan was to take 1 DK weight and 1 fingering weight Tolsta tank, but I can't find the yarn for the fingering weight one I want to make, so I think I'm just going to leave it and deal with that when I get back. And I can definitely knit some fingering weight ones up whilst the test knit is happening. But I think I'm going to take this and probably the black and white to make a striped version. all my bags ready to go. And then last but not least, I went to Ginger Twist this morning, and I have a pattern coming out in the next edition of the Journal of Scottish Yarns, and it is really fun. It is a very on trend, which it didn't really mean to be, but seeing more trends coming out, it's very on trend. It is in, it's a waistcoat with colour work, which doesn't really seem like a very me thing, but I'm very excited for it. And the original sample is then up in Sheepsoft, but I wanted to pick something that was in a slightly more accessible yarn. My original plan was some Jamieson's 5-ply, but I did not get gauge. So then I was really on the fence, and I knew I want to have something finished towards a really good gathering, which is the Yarn Festival in Edinburgh at the end of April. So I was pretty sure I had to start knitting on it before we went on holiday, but I couldn't decide what yarn. And then I thought, Rebecca, you have a favourite Scottish yarn, just hold it double. So I'm using Kinross 4-ply. I wound all my yarn up today, and this is the colour Highland Cow, which will be my main colour, and this is the colour Porridge, which will be my contrast colour. And there's only a little bit of colour work. For the most part, it's going to be this. I think it's going to be really cool. So I'm very excited. Yeah, that's going to come with me. So I think I'm going to leave the colour work. I'm just going to take 2. I'm holding the double, so I think on the plain I'll just take 2 of these, and I'll put the other half. So I've got 4 of these in total. So 2 I'll put in the 2 I'll take on the plain, 2 I'll put in my suitcase. I'll leave the colour work in my suitcase, and I'll see if I get around to the colour work. It doesn't take very long, and if I don't, it might make a good, depending on my progress with Sanna, it might make a good coming back the way project to do the colour work. So I was thinking I can just, oh yeah, I'm taking this bag. I think I'll just take it as like a plain project and just do the body, because it's knit, the body's knit separately. Oh, I'm giving too much away. There's a body part, and then there's a colour work part. The colour work is knitted separately, and then it's joined to the body. So that's fun. So the body is all plain stockinette with like decreases around here, but for the most part plain stockinette. So very happy to just knit that on the way. I've got so many books, like an obscene number of books, to the extent that right now I'm reading trash because I've got so many books I'm waiting to read, but I can't get into any of the series because I want to be reading other books, but I'm not reading them yet because I'm saving them for the plain. So I think I have something ridiculous like 13 books ready for the plain, which I'm not going to read 13 books on the plain. I probably read like maximum 2 or 3, but I've got them already, and I love stockinette knitting and reading at the same time. So I have got a few stockinette projects for the plain in the off chance that that is the situation I'm in. But yeah, that is all for me. What else is going on in life? Work is very busy, but I'm almost done. I've only got Monday left to work before I go on holiday. The boat is slightly chaotic. We've got a lot to do on it before we come back. Basically, 2 weeks after we come back, we have to move the boat to the other coast, and we've got a lot of jobs to do before then. So the rest of this weekend will be spent on the boat. The 2 weekends when we get back will be spent on the boat, and that's kind of chaotic. I was really sick the week before last, like not this week but the week before, and on the one hand it was great because I absolutely flew through my knitting. I got both my Lauder samples done very quickly, but it definitely made me not feel so like I wasn't well for like 4 days, so I feel like I'm still kind of recovering from it, like energy wise. So that wasn't ideal, but it was helpful for knitting. But it does mean that this week I'm like catching up a little bit on admin, and I'm feeling good now. My pattern writing is mostly done. But yeah, it was just like, I felt like 101 things had to get done. So fortunately, most of them are now done. I've got some fun videos hopefully planned. I've got my week in the life of a knitwear designer still to edit and put up online. I'm hopefully going to have a packing video, a travel video, and then I'm hoping to make at least a couple when we're there. So probably like 2 from New Zealand, and I don't know about Australia yet. We'll see. Australia's very, very chill. So in New Zealand, I've got some yarn stores to go to with lots of different cities. We are going on a cruise in the Fjordland in the south. So like, I think there'll be lots of like fun knitting to show. I don't know about Australia yet, so we'll wait and see. But definitely a couple of videos coming from there. Otherwise, I've got lots of packing to do and lots of prepping to do. And I realised that I think on maybe like Monday, I'm gonna have to just get out loads of my things I'm currently working on and take lots of pictures so that I've got things to share on Instagram while I'm away. But yeah, other than that, I'm doing pretty well. I'm on a high today because I finished this one and I love it so much, so I'm feeling really good about my knitting, and yeah, all pretty good. I'm gonna wrap up there. I'm gonna go make a coffee. when I went to Ginger Twist, I came back via the coffee shop to get coffee beans, and they had Peshwari donuts. So I'm gonna have one of them, and I'm gonna make a cup of coffee and get on with the rest of the afternoon. Thank you for sitting and spending some time with me. I'll not be back with a podcast for almost a month. I think I'll only miss one, like the middle one, but I'll be around, and if you want to see any more of like what's going on, I'm sure I'll be posting plenty over on Instagram, so you can come and join me there if you like. And yeah, next episode, whether it's a packing episode or whether it's a week in the life of a knitwear designer, I don't know which is coming first, whichever one. Next Friday, the Lauder cardigan vest sweater is coming, and the test call for the Sanna cardigan is coming too. So I'll be back next week with more fun things from New Zealand, which is slightly terrifying and crazy. And until then, happy knitting.